What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. I'm Toby Proctor with the Theorists. I'm here at Sci-Fi on the Rock 2023 with a very special guest. I'm joined today with Toby Proctor.
Hey,
Toby, how you doing?
I'm doing very well. Enjoying myself.
I'm glad you are, because this is probably the busiest that I've ever seen this. This is only my second year being part of Sci-Fi on the Rock.
Oh.
Last year was the first year of joining everything since COVID.
Yeah.
And I was not expecting this level of just explosion. I'm so glad this is good, because
It's busy.
Sci-fi is alive. It's good to see all this, and this means that this is going to continue. I love it.
Yeah, I think post-COVID, everybody was wondering, would this kind of return to the fervor that it once was? Like just cons in general and just having fun. And this is kind of the first one for me that it feels like there's no distancing. There's no like, I can feel like I'm me again. Right? I think we all need that.
Well, that's absolutely true, because like I work in healthcare, and there's rumors, these little talks that we might be able to remove the masks in the hospital. Like, oh, thank God. Like,
Yeah.
Obviously, we'll be smart about it.
Yeah.
We're like, I got a cough. Okay. I bought a new mask today, actually, just because of the amount of people, because like my little healthcare brain is going. But at the same time, it's also good that my brain is doing that, because
Yes.
it's so good. I'm not going to show you. You don't need to do it, because you're probably already here. So Toby, tell everyone a little bit about yourself.
Well,
who are you?
Who am I? Well, my name is Toby Proctor. I was a very lucky guy when I was in my 20s, and I ended up getting the role of a lifetime in Sailor Moon. I was Tuxedo Mask. I was able to voice the first 2 seasons. And it's a funny thing, because it's something that I never thought I'd do. I wasn't a very good reader growing up.
Okay.
And dyslexia, didn't read a lot of books. But alas, I find myself reading for a career. My number one fear, confirmed.
Realizing this and it works out for you.
It did work out in a strange way. And fast forward many years, I get to go to events like this, meet people who watched the show, and have them tell me how much I changed their childhood. It is bizarre.
And that's it's true too, because I still remember when Sailor Moon came on, like on YTV. I was living in Alberta at the time. It came on YTV. I think it was 8 or 9. I was like, what is this? That was my first time ever seeing anything anime. I didn't know what that was.
Yeah, me neither.
And so I remember, I'm like, what is this? I remember my dad coming down, like, what are you watching? I don't know.
I don't know what it is.
I have no idea what this is. And obviously, it didn't pique my interest at the time, because obviously I was into the big Spider-Man and Batman and stuff like that.
Sure.
But I can definitely appreciate the impact that it had, because it's probably one of the first shows. I don't want to compare to anything, but besides like Dragon Ball or anything at the time, that probably
it was kind of first anime.
Yeah, because Dragon Ball was the big. Oh man,
yes.
All the time. So Sailor Moon was probably like, well, we gotta have one for the not so screaming all the time.
Yeah.
The options. So I gotta say, it definitely was a part of my childhood. Not something that I definitely followed at the time, but I can definitely appreciate why everyone is still reminiscing for sure.
It's funny. I didn't really realize it would kind of have escape velocity. Like it gets to pop culture, and it's like here for good. I mean, there's so many people. There's like I met a little 7-year-old today who was watching it. Yeah. Like she's 7, and then her mom watches, and her grandmother. So I think it's here for a while.
I think it's going to be for sure.
And that's a weird thing, because it's something that's like, it feels like it's a bit etched in stone by now. Having been given the chance to do the role, yeah, it is a luck thing for sure, but I do pinch myself.
This was part of the legacy.
Yeah.
The legacy of Toby. That's part of it.
The legacy. Yeah, I see it now. It's my name in lights. Yeah, but and I mean, I had done a fair amount of acting before. I was a child actor. I was doing a lot of stuff on stage across Canada. I was doing like movies of the week, television shows, all that fun stuff. And then I got an opportunity to do some voice stuff. But this was technically my first voice job ever. And so my very first audition for a voice job I got, and it was this. So talk about lightning striking.
Really, truly. And like you were saying, my wife's a huge Sailor Moon fan.
Yeah.
Every time it comes out, she's watching it. And I told her, I was like, I get to do your tuxedo match. She's like, get out. You should have.
That's cool. It never gets old for me.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
And it's great to obviously see you here. But So, like, we know that you are Darian and Tuxedo Mask.
Yes.
But has there been anything else beyond those that you, like, beyond your defining roles that you say, like, there's something that you're the most proud of?
Oh gosh, you know,
Because you did. Oh my God, I was browsing the IMDb.
Yeah. I mean, I was proud. I did a lead on another cartoon. I was the voice of Flash Gordon. At the same, but it was a really weird thing because I just got Tuxedo Mask, and then a week later I got cast as Flash Gordon, and I went from having never done a series to then having 2 series at the same time, and that was kind of mind blowing and cool, and it probably will never happen again because I mean the odds of getting, well, I know, but just it was just really lucky, and I was quite fortunate. So I was proud of what I did on that show. It didn't like go like Sailor Moon, and there was a fair amount of money behind it, but a lot of times you realize it's not really the money that drives these things. It's really like, is it a really cool property?
Yeah.
Are people going to really get into it? And it's just like anything sci-fi in general. I find people really are very detail oriented. And especially for this show, but I don't know. I'm kind of, I feel proud of everything I've done. I think just because I have tried my best.
Yeah.
There's of course some decisions that when I was younger I made that maybe I should have, been a bit more attentive to, but I was youthful.
Yeah.
But
young and dumb.
Yeah, young and dumb. Yeah, yeah. And
at least we got. Are we out of the young or the dumb phase?
Yeah, well, I am still in the dumb phase. The young, I don't have a hold on anymore. But I find this career is a funny one because I realize when I boil it all down, I just like being around people who are interesting and are fun to be around, and that's ideally what I want to spend my time doing.
That's great. To hear,
yeah.
You're not at the point where like, this again.
No, I don't think so. I in fact, it's funny talking about COVID a little bit. It hurt everybody, and because I'm a social guy, I didn't realize how much it took me back a bit. And and actually, in fact, doing these type of events is really kind of good because it's like, it's getting the engine going again. Talking to people and dealing with people, and remembering that crowds are okay and you can have some fun. And like, I like that. And I missed that.
Well, it's good.
Yeah.
And like I said, it's good that you're still feeling good about this. You're not at the point where you're like I made the joke about, but you always hear the joke or the trope of like, I'm signing up for this again. Who are you?
Yeah,
that's nice. You named your baby. Oh,
yeah.
Like it's one of those things.
Yeah.
But it's more the fact that you're enjoying every part of it, and if that's the case, then like, why would you?
I think if you don't enjoy it, why would you do it? Like, I don't know. That doesn't make sense. I don't think you could or like consistently because it does take energy to meet a lot of people in a day because you also want to give the best version of you to them.
Okay.
Truly, because really, who am I? And who is anybody? Like even big stars, it doesn't matter. Like they just got a different phone call than us. You know what I mean? Like ideally, and it's funny. I was just listening to a podcast the other day, and they're talking about Chaz Palminteri knew Leo DiCaprio in his earlier days, and I guess they re-met just recently, and Chaz, I guess, gave him Leo some amazing advice when he was a young guy that he remembers, and he basically, in essence, said, "Look, remember, you're always 1 millimeter away from giving it to somebody else. So it's not really you that's doing this. So just enjoy the ride."
Okay.
And I think that's really good. Even like big stars have that reality check of like, you can't be too cool.
You are only as big as the ceiling that you're in
Yeah.
at that point, and if you go beyond that, well, you're gonna get blown away.
That's right, and it's like the way we view paper money. It's like this is $20. It's $20, everybody. But everybody has to believe that that's $20 for it to mean anything, because otherwise it's just a piece of paper. And same thing with the stuff that we do.
You're right. This doesn't cost money.
Wait a second, we've all been duped.
So. You obviously work in both areas of that. You work in physical acting and you work in voice acting.
Yes.
Which of those do you honestly prefer?
I actually have more experience in physical acting. I've done a fair amount more on camera work. I think, truthfully, I like that better only because I have also a love for the camera. I like the technical side. I do, but I because I also shoot camera as well. I do camera work. When I'm not acting and doing voice work, I operate camera, and I just really like that side of stuff. I find it very interesting.
Okay.
And in fact, when I was doing Police Academy the series years ago in Vancouver, it was like we did like 26 1 hours, so a lot of shooting. Instead of going back to my trailer, I watched the camera team for the whole year, and then that's how I learned how to shoot camera. And it's I mean, I was being schooled by some of the best shooters in the world, and like there's a director of photography, Manfred Gute, who I'd worked with as a young guy. I was 16 doing a show in, at the time, Czechoslovakia. And I was there right for the Velvet Revolution when Czech and the Slovaks split, very peacefully though. And it was a gigantic set, and he was the DP on that. And then years later, he ended up being the DP on a series I was on. So I felt comfortable watching him and learning from him, and that was cool to me. And that's actually my other love. Yeah.
Because we were talking about that with an interview that you'll find elsewhere in the YouTube land with David Nickel about how the fact that if you get involved in this, it's kind of like the progression. It's like, okay, I start acting, and like you see it in, I keep using the example of Supernatural.
Yeah.
Because eventually Jared Padalecki and I can't remember his name, Jensen Ackles.
Yeah.
They were behind the camera being filmed.
Yeah.
Or sorry, in front of the camera being
and
filmed.
then
And eventually, in the later seasons, they were directing numerous episodes.
That's right.
So they basically I got behind it. Now I know how it works. Now I know how it just kind of.
It's fairly typical for a long season run shows for that to happen. There's usually an appetite for a performer who is more of a director's performer too, and like that happens. Rarely you'll see an actor go behind the camera, actually camera operate, but yes, the translation between actor then getting into a directing background, it's pretty cool.
And it's really cool to see because obviously there's an evolution. It's not just like I'm being this and this is all I'm going to be. And
well,
I'm done.
As good as it can be sometimes, it can be a bit monotonous, and also there's not as much control when you're an actor. You are being told what to do. You're if they could make furniture talk, we'd be out of a job. Right?
Well, I don't know. In this day and age, who knows what's going to happen at this point?
Oh, yeah. Are you kidding me?
So, like, with any of the characters that you've developed or worked on or portrayed over the time, like, what goes into creating the personalities? Like, is the voice acting, is acting, it's you for the most part.
Like, are you talking voice work itself?
Yeah. So how can you portray? How can you actually create a personality for someone that's something that is going to become an element of something?
Interesting. A lot of times you have very little time. Like I would say 99% of the times it's very cold. It's cold reads. Like you've just been slid a piece of paper. Like, okay, what is this? And he's 20 or he's this and that. And you just kind of go with instinct. A lot of the time it is just instinct. Okay. Sometimes your instinct is exactly wrong. And that's why the director's there to say, that was cool, but that's not the way we're going. You're like, okay, so what do you want? Like, take him down a bit, slow him down, because maybe I get a bit excited.
Too much.
Too much there, Proctor. Yeah, so, yeah.
Do you find that at the beginning of creating this character, or when you're given that cold read, do you find that eventually you're able to inject a little personality that is episode 1 and episode 20 it's a completely different?
Oh, yeah. Actually, it may or may not answer this question, but I had a little fun with my character on Police Academy. I played a really dumb guy, and so after a while, when there were scenes that I didn't have lines in, I started to get my own thing, and so I didn't tell anybody what my thing was exactly until an editor came up to me when we were doing ADR sessions. You know how we have to sometimes go over our lines, redub because of noise or whatever, and some editor comes up to me and goes, "Hey man, I have to ask you something. Is your thing that you smell stuff in the background?" I said, "Yep." So my character's through line was anything like when I was in the background, I would be like smelling like staplers and I just very secretly just pick up stuff. And
now I'm gonna be looking for that now.
Exactly. And so this editor picked it up. He was like, "Hey man, I think I know your thing." I'm like, so I got to inject a little bit of personality into it, you know.
That's great.
Have some fun.
Yeah. So do you have anything like for myself? Like I'm trying to figure out how I can do it. It's very dabbling in, but I've been told that I have the voice. I have the face for voice acting.
You do. You have a good voice.
See, there we go. You're right.
You heard of it.
And I've been trying to work on something like that. But you have like not just for me, but anyone else that's looking to maybe get into anything like that. Is there any?
You know, it's funny. Well, advice is do everything you can. One, I know that sounds very broad, but it's true. As like theater, reading. I know. As like if you're not really a performer yet, there's like voices.com. I think there's like some services that you can go on. I can't go on that because I'm in the union. I'm not allowed to. I wish. Yeah, I'm too good at taking money. But yeah, I think there are some online resources where companies are now going direct to performers. They're not even going to the agencies or going into unions. That's actually an advantage that I don't have because I am so ingrained in the union with agents and stuff. That's great, but it's starting to look like a bit of a more archaic system, right?
Okay.
Because really, it should be peer to peer, right? Like if hey, Joe needs a voiceover done by somebody, why am I going to through all these steps? I do get it and I understand. Not that I want to step on the union, but it is what it is. So that's definitely a thing. YouTube is a funny thing. There's so much to learn from YouTube. Camera-wise, I've learned so much camera stuff from YouTube. I've learned so much car stuff from YouTube, and the same thing with voice acting. There are tons of voice acting things that you can watch, even just down to microphone technique, setting up your gear. There's people who do great tutorials on what gear, what's the minimal amount of gear you need, because also you don't want to soak a lot of your money into something that you don't know you're going to get a return on yet, right?
Yeah.
So best you kind of go the affordable route first, and then hey, if you start getting traction, then get that $5,000 Neumann mic and whatever else, right? If that's your thing.
Neumann,
mic. It's spelled Newman, but Neumann. But yeah, I don't own that. My friend does, and I still fawn over it. But it's like, yeah, it's a funny thing. So I think really there's no one road to it, and it does kind of happen. However, putting yourself in the position where you're meeting people like myself, or you're in Comic-Con area, I mean, you never know what's going to happen. Like me, I didn't know that I knew the first director of Sailor Moon. She didn't tell me that. And I happened to take a voice technique course, and that's how I ended up getting the audition.
Okay, cool.
So yeah, actually, and taking workshops, very good idea. Even just for practice, but again, sometimes those people who are teaching those workshops are the people that hire.
Okay, fair
right?
enough. So they're scoping.
That's right, and it's a good way to do it. A lot of it's I mean, you have to be careful. Always do your due diligence. Do some research on, because some people are just doing workshops to take your money.
Yeah.
I get that. That's okay.
The media reminder of Arrested Development.
Right.
It's like, oh yeah, this is great food. Yeah, you're doing awesome. You got more food?
Great series, by the way.
Oh, so good.
So good.
Yeah.
Do we have it?
But we have
Let's
a
do it.
little surprise guest here.
Hi again.
Right.
Okay, I'm gonna take this off for a second because I've done a lot of talking. I'm gonna give this to you. You can hold that for a second because it's just good. We've got Sailor Moon and Tuxedo Mask just in the same
In the flesh.
Yes.
It's just it's too good. It's a dream come true. I know. I made this happen.
You did.
You did.
You made it happen.
But you made it happen.
You arrived and I dressed up. You made it happen.
Have meatballs will travel.
Yeah. There we go.
And this is true. So this is I did an interview earlier, which will probably be up on YouTube at some point with LK regarding her Super Sailor
Moon. Look at you with your memory.
It's all the S's. It's all the alliteration.
Sibilance.
Over my own tongue. And now we've moved on to Serenity.
Yes.
Sailor Scout.
Oh my gosh, Princess Serenity.
I even switched you out. So
you got Serenity, right?
Princess Serenity, and so this is cool. So we get this. This isn't a debut? Have you shown this off before?
I have not.
Is this the first off?
This is the first.
Nice.
This is the first time I get to wear it.
Right?
I hand beaded all of it myself. Something I will never do again. It was annoying.
That was a tough month.
Yeah, I started this 3 years ago.
Are you serious?
Yeah, and then I kept being like, no, I'm not doing it. And then I pick it up for like a week. And
That's crazy.
I'm gonna finish it.
A work in progress. But you're done, and you're here.
Yes, exactly.
So, and this is so cool. Again, obviously, I keep pointing it out, but we can do it. Guys here.
Yeah.
That's so cool. So, I mean, I asked before, and I mean, I hate to put you on the spot, but could we just have a little
back and forth?
Between Darian and
Serena, what are you doing here?
I'm at Sci-Fi.
You're at Sci-Fi. Wait, but I'm at Sci-Fi. I'm the special one.
Well, we can both be special today.
You mean two things can be true at once?
Yes, I think so. Today, this weekend, it can be.
I guess so, but I did forget my rose. I guess I'll have to go back to my shrubbery and get you some.
I'll be good with that.
Catering? That was awesome.
That was awesome. Oh my God, thank you.
That's awesome.
Thank you.
That's sweet.
Oh my God, dreams come true.
Brother, thank you so much.
Thanks so much. And this was great. I can't thank you enough for doing anything like this. I got one last question for you.
Sure.
Okay. In the world of geek, in the world of nerddom, is there anything that on the horizon that's got you interested?
Huh.
Video
question.
games,
Interesting.
movies, music, books.
Wow. Interesting. The new Guardians, actually.
Ooh,
Volume
good
3.
one.
Yeah,
I can't wait.
I think that's the one.
That's gonna be.
I'm a big Chris Pratt fan, actually. I think his voice work is awesome.
He does really good work.
And if anybody said, who would you like to trade places with? Chris Pratt.
Well, I mean, he kind of came out of nowhere anyway.
Yeah,
doing
but
the
he's
whole-
but he's so good.
I had a problem initially when they first there's Mario, and I was used to the Charles Martinet.
Yes,
It's
yes.
funny.
Yeah.
That whole stuff, I was like, this is gonna be sick. And when I came in, it's me. I'm like, oh.
I'm
But
like,
I was like,
what's wrong here?
yeah, but when I kind of read into it, I was like, it's not Charles Martinet. It's passing the torch and everything like that.
Yeah.
Now, I think old Chucky is still going to voice him in the video games and everything like that.
Yeah.
But this is a different universe.
Yeah.
So I was like, I can.
It's like
kinda
the
get behind it.
Spider-Man, the
The multiverse?
yeah, the multiverse. I think
Yes.
there's room for everything.
There is.
Right,
Exactly.
so-
And in the beginning of oh my god, in the beginning of the movie, Mario started out in Brooklyn, didn't he?
Yeah, something like that. I didn't see the movie, but
I like.
I haven't seen the movie yet.
Everything on.
Yeah.
It's
He's
the
a-
beginning.
he's a-
Spoiler alert! You should just
Yeah.
put spoiler alert right up there.
What?
He's always
Yeah.
been a plumber, so obviously he's going to be like that.
Exactly. So I feel like the no accent, it kind of suited how it out in the real world in
Mhm.
Brooklyn.
Yeah.
Or, all the Nintendo stuff.
All the
I won't give it away.
all the squishy things.
Yes.
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 All right. So Guardians. Anything else? Is there any projects that you're involved in that are coming up that you can talk about? I don't
well,
know if you can
that-
do.
I can talk about it, but it's not in the anime realm. But I've been working on a documentary for 5 years. I was shooting at the UN in New York last week.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
Well-traveled.
We were inside the actual UN, and ours is it's a political documentary, but
Okay.
it involves 163 nation states. It's called Walking Without Fear. It will probably be out next year, and we have been working on it, as I said, for 5 years. It involves a Nobel Peace Prize. It involves Lady Di. It involves some pretty amazing players. I got to interview and sit with Madeleine Albright for a bunch of time, and I've got to sit with U.S. Senator Patrick Leahy, Jean Chrétien's in our film.
Oh, cool.
We have prime ministers. We have some pretty amazing, we have Vietnam Veterans of America involved. We have Physicians for Human Rights, UNICEF. It's an amazing film, and it's basically about the 1997 landmine ban and treaty.
Okay.
And
I was like, why is Princess Di?
Yes.
And then as soon as you said that, I was like, oh, that's right, because she was big into
But
that.
she was a huge component of this, and it's the thing is, landmines are a problem again because of the Ukraine, and this film is going to highlight the need and continuation of clearing the world of landmines, because there's still 100 million of them, and they're killing innocent victims every day. And so that's my solid speech to it.
Wow.
But it's a really fascinating thing that my best friend Richard Fatoussi came up with. He was a war-forded journalist and did tours in Afghanistan and survived an IED as well. And so his life's work. This is kind of his opus.
It's gotta be at this
Yeah.
point,
So he's created an amazing thing, and so far it's looking great. And the UN is behind us now. So more to
That's
come.
amazing. So is that soon to come out? Is it just?
Yeah, we're almost about 90% shot.
Okay.
COVID kind of killed us a little bit because we were shooting in 6-7 countries at the time.
Okay. Yeah,
Now we're able to travel again, so we're just knee deep back into full year production. So
I got a quick
Okay, no,
I got a
Yeah.
question. Where can we see that once it's released?
That's exactly what I was gonna ask.
it is set unknown yet, but it will be probably one of the larger streaming channels. So it'll be it will be out there.
Like Amazon, Disney.
Yeah, something like that.
HBO, some Crave, something
Yeah,
like
yeah,
that. Okay, perfect.
yeah. So I'm very excited. That's been my fun time.
All right, so I got to say, I have to thank you for taking the time. I'm going to put this back on me instead of doing that. But I got to thank you for taking the time
Yeah.
to do this. You were a pleasure to talk to you yesterday when I was like, hey, you just kind of want to do this interview with a partially relevant YouTuber. And the fact that we made this work and we were actually able to make it work with LK as well was huge. And you've been nothing but accommodating, and I can't thank you enough for doing this.
Peter, is a pleasure,
Oh my God.
and best of luck. Truly.
Thank you. I
Yeah,
really
me too.
appreciate that.
Let's just keep
No,
going.
you're done.
Yeah.
You're fine. No, you've had your time. It's
What?
fine now.
That's not fair.
Come on. No, but it's true. Obviously, you're wishing me luck, and I wish you the best of luck.
Yeah,
that,
thanks.
That documentary does sound amazing. I'm obviously going to be watching out.
Yeah,
for it.
it's going to be something for sure.
And now the world of YouTube knows about it, so they can help with it too.
That's right.
So from here at Sci-Fi in the Rock 2023 at the Sheraton Hotel Newfoundland, here in St. John's. I'm here. This is Peter Parkour with Toby Proctor. Make sure for the Distorted Theorists that you do your best to share, to like, subscribe, comment, do all the things, like, dislike. I don't care what you do, as long as you're paying attention to me and Toby. You're paying attention to something, and you're staying on the streets. And if you're able to do that, we greatly appreciate it. So from all of us here at Sci-Fi and the Distorted Theorists, I'm Peter Parkour, and like we always say around here, keep it real.